Hello dear viewers, a very warm welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video, we're going to have a look at top symptoms of bad clutch slave cylinder. The clutch slave cylinder is an important component in a manual transmission vehicle. It is part of the hydraulic clutch system that is responsible for engaging and disengaging the clutch when the clutch pedal is pressed and released. The slave cylinder is connected to the clutch master cylinder via a hydraulic line. Now, when the clutch pedal is pressed, it pushes the hydraulic fluid through the fluid line and into the slave cylinder. This causes the slave cylinder to extend and push against the clutch release fork, which then acts on the release bearing to push the pressure plate. This action disengages the clutch, allowing the driver to shift gears. When the pedal is released again, the slave cylinder retracts, allowing the clutch to re-engage and transfer power from the engine to the transmission. So, the slave cylinder plays a very crucial role in the proper operation of the clutch. It provides the mechanical force needed to disengage the clutch when the pedal is depressed. Without proper functioning slave cylinder, the clutch will not be able to disengage fully, leading to various drivability issues. Now, this particular clutch is taken out of Isuzu pickup truck. As you can see, the seals have failed. There is a leakage, fluid leakage. This is basically caused by misalignment. The fork and the push rod that is transferring power from the clutch slave cylinder piston to the fork has a misalignment, and that has made the piston to rub against the wall of the clutch slave cylinder on one side, and this has caused extra strain on the seals on the lower side. As you can see, the piston is now very much rubbed on one side, and the seals are damaged on that similar side, and this has caused leakage of hydraulic fluid. Now, whenever this kind of problem happens, there are always symptoms that indicate a bad or failing clutch slave cylinder. The first symptom is stiff or difficult clutch pedal. A properly functioning slave cylinder allows the clutch to operate properly, but if the slave cylinder is failing, the pedal will feel stiff, hard to push down, or require excessive effort. This is often one of the earliest signs of a problem with the slave cylinder problem. For this particular case, however, the symptom that is most visible, most known, is the clutch pedal sink to the floor. When there is leakage, when there are worn out seals, the slave cylinder can cause the clutch pedal to slowly sink all the way to the floor. This happens as hydraulic fluid leaks out, preventing the clutch from fully disengaging. So this makes shifting very difficult. The other symptom that can be exhibited by a failing clutch slave cylinder is slippage or inability of the clutch disengagement. If there is clutch slippage, then properly disengaging can be very challenging. Bad slave cylinder may prevent the clutch from fully disengaging when the pedal is depressed, and this can cause the clutch to slip or the vehicle to lurch when shifting gears. So that is another indication of a failing slave cylinder. Burning clutch smell. Sometimes when the clutch slippage is extremely high, clutch slippage as a result of a malfunctioning slave cylinder can cause the clutch material to overheat and burn, and this will produce that unpleasant burning odor from the clutch area. This is basically generated as the heat will start to make it smell. So burning clutch smell can sometimes be caused by a failing slave cylinder and leakage of fluid. Just for this particular vehicle, for example, there is lots of leakage under the vehicle. A leaking slave cylinder will result in low fluid level in the reservoir of the clutch master cylinder, possible fluid drip or puddle under the vehicle, and when the fluid loses this hydraulic fluid, then gear shifting will be very difficult. So indicates that either the slave cylinder as a whole or the piston and seal has to be replaced. For this particular vehicle, we are going to replace the piston and seal assembly. As you can see, the new piston and seal assembly has arrived. We have 2 seals per piston, and we have new dust boot, and we are going to reassemble this and use it as a replacement. Other symptoms of a failing clutch slave cylinder includes grinding or chattering noise. If there is a problem with the clutch slave cylinder, like for example a stuck or malfunctioning slave cylinder can cause grinding, chattering, or other unusual noises when the clutch is operated. That is another symptom. Clutch pedal vibration or pulsation is also another symptom. A failing slave cylinder may cause the clutch pedal to vibrate, to pulse, or feel uneven when depressed, and this is another sign that the slave cylinder is not functioning properly. Premature clutch wear, difficulty shifting gears, this all indicate a failing slave cylinder. If you experience any of these symptoms, it is very essential and very crucial to have the clutch system inspected diagnosing and repairing a faulty clutch slave cylinder in timely manner can help prevent further damage and costly repairs down the road. So what are some of the things that can lead to clutch slave cylinder failure? For example, in our particular case for this vehicle, it is caused by misalignment between the clutch assembly and the fork that has caused wear. Sometimes normal wear and tear over time can cause damage. The internal component of the slave cylinder, such as seals and piston, can wear out due to normal use. The gradual wear and tear can eventually cause the slave cylinder to fail, leading to clutch issues. And other causes of slave cylinder failure are leakages. Leaks in the hydraulic line or seals can cause loss of hydraulic fluid, and the fluid loss prevents the slave cylinder from building up pressure that is necessary to fully disengage the clutch. Sometimes contamination of the hydraulic fluid can be an issue. Dirt, debris, or moisture in the clutch fluid can damage the internal component of the slave cylinder. This contamination can cause the cylinder to stick, to bind, or to fail prematurely. Overheating can also be another issue. Excessive clutch slippage and improper adjustment can cause the clutch components, including the slave cylinder, to overheat. The heat buildup can degrade the materials and the seals within the slave cylinder, and that can lead to premature failure. In areas with high moisture or exposure to element, the slave cylinder can corrode over time. Corrosion of the internal parts can lead to sticking. It can lead to leak and eventual failure. Physical damage is another issue. Impact or physical trauma to the slave cylinder also be a cause for a failure of the clutch slave cylinder. This kind of direct damage can lead to leakage. It can lead to binding. It can lead to complete breakdown of the clutch slave cylinder. Incorrect installation, for example, if the slave cylinder is not properly installed during a repair or replacement, it can also lead to premature failure. Improper alignment, incorrect torque specification can damage the slave cylinder, or damage during installation can contribute to early failure of the clutch slave cylinder. The other one is excessive clutch abuse. Frequent riding of the clutch pedal or aggressive clutch usage can put extra stress on the slave cylinder, and this can accelerate wear and tear on the internal components of the clutch. So exposure to extremely high or extremely low temperature beyond the slave cylinder's normal operating range can sometimes degrade the materials and degrade the seals, and thermal stress can lead to premature failure of the components of the clutch as well. In some electrically operated clutch, modern vehicles with electronic clutch system, problems with electrical wiring or control can also affect the slave cylinder. Malfunctioning in the electronic component can disrupt proper slave cylinder operation. So, addressing this kind of issues is very crucial. If you happen to notice that any of this is causing failure of the clutch, proper maintenance and careful installation and avoiding abuse can help extend the service life of this very critical clutch component. Regular maintenance, including clutch fluid change and inspection of the hydraulic system, can help prevent premature slave cylinder failure. But ultimately, the slave cylinder is a wear item that will need to be replaced at some point during the vehicle lifetime, but premature failure can be caused by some of the issues that I mentioned earlier. So, dear viewers, that is all we have for you regarding some of the top symptoms and causes of a bad clutch slave cylinder. If you find this video helpful and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications so that you will be the first to get notified whenever we come up with another video. Until then, stay safe.